Hi, Matt with eTrailer, and today we're going to be talking about the Trailer Valet manual wheel dolly. So we'll just be talking about how it's going to work, function, and actually show it in use too. So let's check it out. This is going to be perfect for anyone who has those smaller trailers that are hauling either your jet skis, a side-by-side, or ATVs, anything along those lines. This is going to help you out, especially with those smaller trailers. Because when you try to get into those tight spots in your parking lot or your garage, what can happen is those smaller trailers can be a little bit squealy, and it's going to be kind of hard to keep an eye on what's happening back there. With this, it's just going to help you out and just be really easy to use and hook up to. Now, if you already have this and you're pretty experienced with it, we'd love to hear what you have to say about it and what you really use it for on a day-to-day basis. But if you don't own this and you want to learn a little bit more about it, we'll actually start using this now. Now, one thing I want to point out before we actually get going is I actually have a different ball on here currently. I'm using a 2-inch ball, and this is going to come with an 1 7/8 inch ball. Reason is because we don't have any couplers that are going to fit that size, and if you're in a similar situation, then you can actually find a different ball size by Trailer Valet on our website. It's just going to be more compatible. There are going to be other different types of balls out there, but you just need to make sure that threading is going to be the same. And we tried pulling another ball from Kurt or just other brands in general, and those balls, the threading on them didn't match what we had on this. So more than likely, you're going to have to use a Trailer Valet ball. Now, something else to think about is you're probably wondering, well, if this doesn't have the ball that's going to match my coupler, why would I go with this rather than another type of dolly out there? Where I think this one really exceeds that is it has 3 wheels on it, and really this goes a long way. It gives it more stability and just makes it easier to use and move around. As you can see right here, with nothing on it, the mobility from this, when I've used other type of dollies out there, it's just a lot smoother. Now when it actually comes to hooking up, it's very simple too. So when we hook up, we just need to line up that ball to our coupler. And in some situations, your ball might be too tall. Typically, you just have to pull this pin here, this clip too. And you could actually lower this down further if need be. We'll actually talk about the max height of this later on, but I'll put that back in here. But in some situations, it's still just slightly a little bit too low. What I'll do for that situation is just come over here and bring the dolly in like that. And there we have it. And even if it's a little bit lower than that, you can still do that. You just need to make sure that your trailer is chalked so it doesn't roll away on you. And then just make sure you secure everything down and then lower down your jack. So let's see how it does. So I'm just going to pull on it. Right now I am going up a little bit of an incline. And really I'm not having too much resistance here. Now all I have on here right now is that side-by-side, but at the end of the day, you're typically not going to have anything too heavy. And what the goal is I have right now is we have a really tight spot right next to our other side-by-side. And what I'm going to try to do is get it on the other side of that side-by-side and then get this into place. So far, I'm getting a lot better visuals of this if I was going to just back up regularly. And soon here, when I have to make that really tight turn, we can really see where this is going to shine. And right now I'm pushing on it, and I think this is definitely better than pulling on it. Earlier when I was pulling on it, my wheels were coming up a little bit, or at least that third smaller wheel at the very front of it, that was coming up a little bit. But pushing on it, I'm not having that issue at all. And this is working pretty nicely for me right now. Now I will say there are no built-in chocks on the dolly when I'm moving it around, so you just need to make sure you have a good hold on this the entire time when you move it. But yeah, there we have it. That really didn't take any time at all. We have it in a nice spot too. If I need to adjust it at all, I can do that real quick. And once you're done, you just need to chalk this into place. Now, if you're on a little bit of an incline, just recommend maybe having a friend with you or just having your chalk in your hand So you can come over here and at least chalk the dolly so this doesn't slide around on you. And when we're ready, we can disconnect and take it off. Again, how this is sitting, I'm gonna just lift it up like that. And you can use your jack to adjust the height of how it sits on here. Now we do have this other trailer right next to me, and this one is sitting a little bit higher. And this is the perfect chance for me to really talk about how this can adjust for different heights. So right now, it's in that minimum position. This is also pretty light, so it's easy to maneuver around and line everything up. So at 20 inches, we're really not making contact here. So what I can do is adjust this, pull this pin, pull up on this some, and this is going to have a max height of 24 inches. If I put that pin back through here, we can secure that down. And now, as you can see, this would work with our trailer, and I have to just come over here, put it at an angle like this. Only issue here is this coupler is for 2 5/16 balls. So what you have to do is just make sure you invest in another ball to work with those trailers. But if you only have the one trailer, then this shouldn't be an issue with really swapping your balls around. And one other thing I wanted to bring up again is earlier when this wheel was coming off the ground just a little bit, that is something to keep in mind. I'd actually recommend trying to keep that on the ground as much as possible. If it comes off a couple inches, that's fine every now and then. But the reason why is if I come over here, let's say this trailer is super low to the ground, I need to hook up to it real quick. I can do that, and if the trailer is light enough, I can still lift this up, which is pretty nice and all, but the issue there is if I didn't hook this up completely and latch that coupler down, or even if I did, if you're not careful, that wheel might come up too much and you might get disconnected and something could get damaged. So definitely try to keep this wheel on the ground as much as possible when you are pulling your trailers. When it comes to storing this, there's going to be a couple things to think about. And the first thing is how often you're using this. If you're not using this a ton, you could try putting it in your garage. If you do that, there's a couple things to think about. So right here, I noticed this is going to be the way it's going to save you the most amount of space, but it won't want to stand. So you could try chalking it somehow, putting something behind the wheel so it doesn't fall down on you. Or you could try deassembling just the back wheel section. Really, there's just 2 bolts holding it into place. So it doesn't take that long, but it is something to think about. Now, if you're someone who's using this a lot more often, maybe either on a weekly basis or something along those lines, I might actually recommend keeping it on your trailer if you have the space for it. So if you can find a way to lock it there, I think it's going to be a lot more handy. It's going to be out of your way, and you won't have to go as far when you do need it. This is going to have a capacity of 1,500 pounds for towing and 800 pounds for your tongue weight. Most cases, you're probably not going to come across anything for 800 pounds. For your tongue weight, that's going to also be below 1,500 pounds. Really what the difference is, your tongue weight is going to be the downward force being applied to this, and your towing weight is going to be what's being pulled behind it. Now there are a few things to think about, because if your load is shifted on your trailer, then you might encounter some situations like that, if most of your load is on the front of your trailer. Something else to think about is going to be the ball. So like I said, you can get this ball changed out. Changing out that ball won't change your weight capacity. It's all going to be the same no matter if you're using the 1 7/8, 2 inch, or 2 5/16. Something else to think about though is how you're going to change it. Really, it's pretty quick and easy. All you have to do is probably grab an adjustable wrench and just loosen this up. You'll be able to unscrew it and then put the new one on and tighten it back into place. Really doesn't take too long. You just need something that's going to fit around this base here. In my opinion, I think this is a solid choice if you're looking for something that's a little bit more affordable than the high-end options for moving your trailers, especially if you have those smaller ones where you're just moving an ATV or a side-by-side. This is going to do you just fine, and really how it moves and operates is just very smooth compared to a lot of other type of wheel dollies of this design. Now, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more heavy duty because maybe 800 pounds for a tongue weight or 1,500 pounds for your tongue weight just isn't going to cut it. If you have a smaller camper, then I'd actually recommend something else by Trailer Valet, and that's going to be their XL Trailer Dolly. Now with that, that's just going to have a crank system to it, so you can move it around like that, or you can use a drill attachment to move it around, so it's going to be a lot less of a hassle for you. Compared to something like that, that's going to go a long way, and there's even an MB Pro one if your trailer is a little bit larger. Now if you want something completely hands-free and maybe bending down this much, it's a little bit hard for your back. That's definitely fine. But again, that was just a look at the Trailer Valet Essential Trailer Dolly. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.